Hello, my name is Beren, and I am joined by Benny and Florian. Benny is CPO at Hyground, and Florian is founding engineer. We have some exciting things to share. This is Omni Hyground. It's a bit of a code word that we use within Hyground ourselves, but essentially it's Hyground 2.0. It is very powerful, it's very complex, but it's also very exciting. And that's why we want to talk to you about this new feature. So, Benny, maybe you can walk us through what the problem was that we were facing and why we thought about Omni.
So we started out with Hyground as an AI SRE, like many do, connecting an LLM to a single Kubernetes cluster. And is already very impressive, right? So you can connect it and you see, whoa, it can go through all the kubectl commands, and then you add more stuff to it. And suddenly you have a really good overview and analysis capabilities for a single cluster. Very early on, though, our customers mentioned, and we expected this, of course, that, we don't only run a single cluster. Oftentimes we have the same application even across multiple clusters or multiple tenants. So to support multi-cluster topologies, we needed to change our architecture, expand our architecture, which is when last year we started out with a solution, a very first solution, where we decided to more or less duplicate Hyground with each cluster and connect them to be talking to each other. And this was our very first try, and it worked. It did solve many of the issues, cross-cluster comparisons and pattern recognition and analysis, but there were quite a few challenges we also faced with that. And we did expect some of them, maybe not all of them. And that is how later on, beginning of this year, the idea of Omni came up.
One of our customers runs like 40 plus clusters and 800 nodes. It did work, but we needed to improve upon it, right? What were some of the side effects that Omni solved for us? Florian.
Yeah, good question, Beren. So it changes a lot of stuff in the background and how Hyground thinks about the customer system. So it's now a lot more thinking and seeing the system like an operator does. In the old world, I call it now, you had this multi-cluster agent talking to another agent that knew about the remote system. And now you have one agent that truly sees and understands everything in its own context. And this way, Hyground can a lot better reason about problems and issues because you don't have two people talking to each other, but one person being in charge and seeing all. So this is a big improvement on how Hyground interacts with the system.
We call this internally the topology, right?
Exactly, yeah. So that's the topology. We also work on visualizing this. And this is, I think, a very cool thing where you, even as a DevOps person, will have for the very first time a holistic UI to see all of the systems and how they are connected. I think this is something to look out for in the future.
Awesome. Some of the things that I really think are incredible is because we have this one AI, instead of all of these different ones on the out systems, we have a much better token cost. So we don't use as much as before. The thinking behind the agents is a lot clearer because it's only one brain thinking, let's say, apart from many others. And the performance is a lot better as well because now we can support up to 20,000 nodes and beyond. We haven't caught the limit yet, but it's very exciting. There's also a couple of new features. I'm thinking of autonomous learning, for example, with the Omni Hyground. What are some other features that are being unlocked with this new way of working? Benny.
So another thing next to the opportunity to append real-time learning to the topology tree is that we can now much more easily support arbitrary workloads. So we come from the Kubernetes world, but we are very much not limited to the Kubernetes world. Workloads do run in container services like EC. They run on virtual machines natively or maybe functions in serverless services, right? So there is many different ways on how to operate and deploy workloads. And the topology is open to representing any kind of workload deployment, which allows Omni to navigate them just as fluently and effectively as Kubernetes clusters.
All right. So if you would sum this up in a couple of bullet points, I would say it is more effective, it is more cost efficient, you have a full overview, so it's not dispersed into different clusters or different agents. It is all centralized, and it is one very powerful agent that will rule or support the infrastructure. Is that right? Or is there something you would like to add?
I think with the new architecture, we are way closer to how a human approaches operations than we were before. And as we've discovered in many different AI topics, the nearer you get an AI to the work environment a human lives in, technically speaking, the better it performs. And this is what we also see with Omni.
It's very easy to be fairly effective in a very small, narrow space for an LLM to navigate and to explore and analyze. That's why many customers will approach us and say, oh, I can just connect my Cloud Code to my kubectl and then I'm almost there. And of course, there is a long way. You're far from it. But in every company, we see that that it doesn't stop with a single cluster or a very limited, narrow space of workloads, but it's always a larger infrastructure scale to navigate. And this is simply not possible without such a knowledge graph like our topology in the background that is updating in real time and appending metadata and everything.
All right. So that's a final message to the do-it-yourself crowd. If you want to do this, it's very possible, but it's probably a couple of months of deep senior development time that is necessary.
There's one thing that comes to mind. So we've been talking, there is a single agent, a single session navigating all of your infrastructure and having one context, which has a lot of upsides. But there's also this very straightforward word of warning out there to not have a single powerful agent for your production workloads for safety and security reasons, first and foremost. And I want to stress that, yes, this is a single agent for doing the hard, tough cognitive work, but there is a lot of other agents in place for safety and security measures that do provide a gatekeeper for the data that is coming in so that there's no sensitive data ending up in the agent or being misused or the jailbreak risk being minimized. And there's also agents on the other end on the output end. So whenever there is an action taken, that this is being double checked by a separate agent that is verifying, evaluating if that is actually a reasonable and secure action to execute. The analysis is really complex. So they are being spawned dynamically just in time and just in place. Yeah, this is, I think, an important issue to address.
All right. Then thank you very much. If you have any questions, if you want a demo, please reach out. We're very happy to talk. Thank you very much and bye.
Bye.